let's go to the next one here. I have a sketch here. Put that into full screen. And what we want to do, I'll color the skin here and in the shirt as well with some different colors. Let's see, the first color, I actually have a little palette to the side that I'm using to pull my colors from. And so let's go ahead and do the same thing. Let's unlock this layer and let's go ahead and multiply it. And we'll create a new layer and we'll pull that underneath and we'll call that skin. Okay, and what I'll do is I'll go ahead and make a large brush. And let me go ahead and take the opacity full strength. Let me go ahead and fill this in here. Okay, let's see, we'll get in here, get in the lips, get in the nose, get in the eye, gotta get the ear, down into the neck. Now remember, you don't have to be that careful with the color right now because we're just going to go back and erase the areas that we don't want. So let me go ahead and get the eraser. Let me just make the eraser a lot longer, a lot larger. Let's see. Okay. Okay. Let's go ahead and erase out those sections. Okay. Let's erase these out a little bit. Let's go around the ear here. Let's get around the shirt as well. Okay, let's get into the beard here. Let's see, the brush right now we're using is diffused. So let's go ahead and do a solid brush and make it really large. So I get a cleaner edge on spots, a little bit smaller. Let's see. Okay, let's clean up around the neck there a bit. Let's make this a little smaller so I can get around the beard. Let's see. I might want to diffuse this. Yeah, let's diffuse this. Let's go ahead and diffuse this. Okay. And let's make it big enough so we can see it. Okay. Let's diffuse this on the side here. Okay, let's make it a little smaller. Let's diffuse it around the ear there. Okay, let's do the beard. Okay, a bit more. Let's diffuse around this. Make it a little smaller so we can get into here. We can always blow the image up a bit if we want it as well. So we can come over here. And let's make it a little smaller, and we'll diffuse through in here. And then the lip is right here. See, it's right here. Okay. And then we'll get it out of the beard. And then there's a top lip. And we'll stroke across there. And we'll come in a little bit further into the lip. And I think this is outside of the lip, so we'll get that. Okay, let's shrink it down a bit so I can see it. Let's take a little bit off here. And then we want to get around the eye. Lash. Let's take it off here. Let's take it off here. I'm just going to continue to delete off the area that I don't want. Let's see, we'll clean out the eyes. Make it a little smaller. Just using the bracket keys to make it smaller there. And let's take a little bit off there. And then we'll make the bracket a lot larger. And then we'll delete here off the forehead and go all the way down. And then we'll take off here in the front of the forehead. And we're just about done with erasing. Okay, let me see if there's any other skin on here that needs to be painted in or deleted out. Let's see, we'll put a little bit more color. Let's shrink that down a bit. And put some more color in here just a bit. A little more color into this area here. Let's see, let's undo that a bit because I don't want it that strong. What I'll do is get a diffuse brush. Okay. And then we'll fill in this area here. Just make it a little bit larger. And then I'm going to go back to the eraser and just delete out this little section here that I don't want. And I believe this is on top here. And then this needs to go out just a bit here. Okay, I'm kind of happy with that. Let's see, we'll take this down just a little bit as well. And we'll shrink this down so we can see it a little bit better. Whoop, I forgot the top of the hair. Let's see, we want to go up here and erase all this. I'll get the majority out first. We make it a little bit larger. Okay. Make it a little bit smaller. And then I'll make this a little bit smaller so I can get into these little spaces and nooks. Do that a little bit. Okay, I like the way that looks. And then let's go ahead and I'm going to color the shirt in. The color that I want to use, let's go ahead and put the shirt on its own layer. And let's call that shirt. Okay, and I'm just going to make the brush a little bit larger. And let's go ahead and just fill this in. Okay, and behind his neck. There. Okay, I think that's good. And we'll get the eraser and make it larger. And get it right here on the shirt. And we'll get around the shirt. And I'm just taking off the excess, as they say. Okay. And let me take off the excess here. Okay. That's pretty good there. We definitely need, let's go ahead and for the eyes, I'm going to go ahead and shoot the eye in as well while I'm here. Whoop, it helps if you get a brush instead of the eraser. Okay, and then we'll get the dodge tool and just lighten that up a bit. Whoops. Let's lighten it up a little bit more with the highlights. And let's turn up the strength. Okay, I like that. And what we'll do now is, what what I'll do now is let me go in here and hit a few spots with the burn, with the dodge. Let's see, let's just hit some spots. Whoops. Let me make sure I'm on the red layer. Just lighten some spots up here, because we know this is the forehead, so it's going to have some highlight on it. Shrink that down a bit, and then lighten up over the eyebrow here a bit. The forehead, we know there's going to be some rosy cheeks up here, right? And on the nose, we know the nose is going to need some highlights as well. So I'm just using what we know from the regular drawing classes about how to add highlights and shadows. Let me lighten up this ear a bit in here. Lighten that up a bit. Soften this a bit. His nice red neck, right? And let's go ahead and let's see. I like that. Let's give it a little more highlight on the nose. Okay. And what we could do is, I'll go ahead and on his neck, I'm just going to darken a couple little spots on his neck here. So it comes down there. That last one was a little strong. Let's weaken this a bit. Let's see the midtones and see if it's a little lighter. Like that. Right here on the beard, I'm going to make this a little bit darker. And right here on the forehead. Make this a little bit darker there. And then I'm going to make that a little bit darker in here. Let's see if it does anything in here. Okay, there it goes. Computer's running a little slow. And I kind of like that. Let me just go back and add a few more highlights here and there. Let's lighten the lower lip a bit. It's not so strong. Oops, that was way too much. Okay, let's try that again. Let's lighten this lip up a bit. Okay. And what we can do next is, of course, we can always, let's add another cloud layer. Let's go ahead and do a new layer. And we'll put this up here on top. And let's pick kind of a beigey tone. Let's see. Well, we'll do that. And then we'll do, let's see, filter. We want to give it a little bit of a texture in the background, so we'll give it some clouds. And then we'll blur the clouds out a bit. I think that needs to be, I need to warm that up a bit there. Let's go ahead and multiply that. And let's lower the opacity on it a bit so it's not so strong. Let's give it a little bit of texture. And then, let's see, I'm going to go ahead and grab the dodge and burn tool. Let's go back to the skin just real fast because I just want to give a little bit of highlight on the ear. And then give it a little bit of a highlight here on this ear over here. And then I want to darken a few areas. Let's make this smaller. Let's make this darker in just a little caveat right there. Let's see. Try that one more time. And then let's hit this one little spot there. And that should be good with that. And then what we'll do is, let me just do one more little hit here of the highlight. And then we'll go back to the burn tool and just make it stronger. Whoops, the reason it's not doing that is because I'm on the wrong layer. Let's try this again. Okay, now we should be getting some darker areas. Let's increase the opacity a bit. There it goes. Let's give it a little color in his beard. Let the computer catch up a bit there. Let's do a little bit more in his beard as I go up here. So I'm just using the, right here, I'm just using the burn tool to burn in a bit. Make the hair back here a little bit darker. On the top, let's make it a little darker on the top too. And spots. Let's make it a little darker right there. And then right here. And let's go over this little spot here and darken that in just a bit as well. Give it some flavor. Probably those little spots there are a little strong, but we'll just leave them for now. And we could always, increase the opacity a bit. If we wanted to make it lighter, if we wanted to do it stronger, we can always increase it a bit as well. We could always apply a little filter to it as well. Let's blur it out a bit so it's not so strong. And we'll hit OK. And aside from that, I think that's a nice little image. Let's let it render here real fast and see what it looks like. See if there's any difference in the background. Not too much. You could always bring up the eye a bit too. Let's go ahead and select that layer. Let's bring up the eye a bit so it stands out. That's not too bad. Those are some options you have. You can see adding the color, on different layers. Create some really nice effects for your original drawings. And another drawing I have here, I'll show you real fast. Here is a sketch here that I'll show you the original. Let's go full screen and shrink that down a bit. You can see here just a sketch, just playing around, and you can always come back in and give it a little color. And so I think it helps a lot, using these, scanning and playing around. And so before you commit to it with traditional material like paint and pens and markers and watercolor, what you can do is you can play around with it a little bit on the computer first to get a basic idea of what colors you would like things to be. And it makes your job of painting it in a traditional way or drawing it in a traditional way much easier.